My glowy homies, and welcome to day 3. I held up a lot of numbers there, but we are on day 3 today, and today I'm sharing with you the food freedom method and how I was able to heal my digestive issues and hundreds of other women's digestive issues without going into food fear. So I'm going to give you the food freedom method because I don't know about you, but everything I see about gut healing is like elimination, is like low FODMAP, is restriction and starving out the bacteria, but at the same time, you're starving yourself. And if you have a disordered relationship with food, that just doesn't jam, does it? So just as a reminder, the Gut Accelerator Program is open for enrollment right now. So if you want, actually, I'll drop that link right here for you guys. If you want to apply, seats are limited, so make sure you get in there. And I am starting to jump on calls with everyone next week. So I just put it in there for you guys. So if you are just tuning in and this is your first time seeing me on this little Happy Gut Gang Facebook, my name is Laura Martin. I'm the creator and founder of Healing to Happy. And after 10 years of struggling with anxiety and IBS, I finally figured out that they were tied together. And after trying every diet imaginable and face planting and going back and getting all the certifications and the specializations and all that kind of stuff, finally was able to figure out a method. But what happened in that whole process is I was so desperate for solutions, right? I chased anything and everything that had some type of promise of healing my bloating or my constipation or my IBS or my anxiety. I chased it all and it was exhausting, and I convinced myself like, hey, this is healthy. This is because the interwebs tells me it is, and it says, hey, I'm going to solve all your gut issues. But in reality, what it did was make everything worse, which sucked. And I ended up eliminating 13 different food groups, which I chatted all about yesterday when I was chatting about food sensitivities and how digestive enzymes and everything needs that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you go check out day 2 to get a recap of that. But yeah, I eliminated 13 different food groups, and I kept going because I was convinced this was healthy. But at the root of it, like, it was just me, one, masking my eating disorder, like, because it was control, it was all this kind of stuff. But what also happened was I lost 35 pounds. I ended up losing my period, which I'm still now struggling even now to continually get that. It comes in and out, but to consistently get that, because my body was in such a state of fight or flight for so long. My hair started falling out. My skin flared up. Actually, my dad, we were sitting out having coffee this morning, and he was like, hey, a year ago today. And he showed me the picture of my face, and if you guys go to my Facebook and see my story, you'll see this big thing that happened on my face, and it spread down my back. And that was about a year, and that's when I finally surrendered. Because I was in this rat race, right? Like, I was convinced I was doing the right thing because I was eliminating the gluten and the dairy and the soy and the eggs and the shellfish and the legumes and all that kind of stuff. I was eliminating that stuff. I was fasting for hours because I swore that's what was going to fix me. I was so desperate, and so at the time, like, this was my life. I like pride. Everyone was like, oh, you're so disciplined, whatever. But it's like, I had no life. My relationships were affected. It just became so stressful. And so what happened was, and what I realized was that the root of it is I wasn't asking the right questions, right? Because you're starving out this bacteria, and what happens is it comes back with vengeance. Okay, so of course you feel better when you go on these low FODMAPs or these eliminations, or you tried keto or low carb or some slow carb, whatever is out there right now. Of course you feel better at first because you're starving out this bacteria. And then if and when, you'll notice it comes back, it cycles through, you'll start to feel better, and then something else will flare you up. So you eliminate that. And so you keep eliminating these things until you're left with not much else. And let me know if that resonates with you. If actually, like, I would love to hear from you guys and hear more of in the chat box what causes you to bloat up and what causes you to flare up, and what does that look like for you. And so what I have come to learn and what all of the hundreds of women that I've helped along the way have found in the Gut Accelerator program is that instead of saying, okay, why is the, like, what is the food that's flaring it up, which is what you'll see in like Whole30 or elimination diets or all that kind of stuff, or food sensitivity tests. Like, oh my gosh, those things are, I just cannot, guys. Like, those things are not something I condone. And I can get into a whole other topic on that later. But so what you'll notice is that these things will make you feel good at first, but we're not asking the question of why is that bacteria there to begin with, right? And that's why it comes back with vengeance, because say, and like for me, my birthday was on Monday, and so like I've had cake and cheese and wine and all that kind of stuff. My blood is cool, like it's fine, because a healthy body can metabolize foods in small doses. A healthy body that has strong digestive enzymes and strong and high stomach acid can mutilate any of the shit that comes in, and then you don't have the pathogens, and you don't need to be, that bacteria isn't getting into your intestines, and you don't need to starve it out. Does that make sense for you guys? Like, that's such a major one that we're just not paying attention to, and it makes me so sad. So what we're going to be diving into today is the solutions around that, and the food freedom method that has helped hundreds of women in the Gut Accelerator program find their food freedom and actually apply the stuff to full living and get back to living their life. Because that's also the struggle, is that if you're recovering from an eating disorder, you can't have all these diets and eliminations and restrictions, because that just spikes up everything, and that really takes over every single part of your body, and you're just, or thought process, and you're just sitting in it being like, well, this is what I have to do, but deep down you know you're not supposed to be, like, you're supposed to be eating normally. And if you're always chasing a diet and you're always doing this and you're always doing that, that's not a healthy lifestyle, right? Like, a healthy lifestyle is one that isn't catered around food. You can eat what you want. You can trust your body to heal itself. You're not at war with your body. That's a healthy and vibrant life. And that's what my mission is, to help women achieve that, okay? So some of the first things that you have to understand is how to heal gut irritation, right? And that doesn't mean we're eliminating gluten, soy, shellfish, eggs, all that kind of stuff. It means we are focusing on inadequate digestive enzymes, and how do we rev that up, and how do we support the liver in that process to get some actual natural bile production so that you have natural lubricant to poop. Stabilizing the blood sugar levels so that everything's in balance. And this is where I see my girlies that are suffering from anxiety, and that's what my whole thing is helping people understand that anxiety and gut health are related, right? Between gut-brain connection, that's what we're getting more into tomorrow. Around like food anxiety and just anxiety is just so overwhelming. But blood sugar levels, this is what you see. So people at the time, like for me, when I was younger, I thought I was broken. I mean, they literally told me I was broken. So I thought I was broken. And I didn't understand that it was just my diet. Like, I was face deep in like cups of sugar and like chocolate and ice cream, and like I had no idea how to eat. I was never taught how to eat. And so my blood sugar levels were going like this all the time, and so were my moods. So understanding that aspect, understanding how chronic stress, like when you're fasting and you're on a diet all the time and you're always wrong, you're always telling yourself like, I'm not good enough, because that's essentially what it is, right? Like, because women that like are full and vibrant, we nourish ourselves well, right? Like, we are eating good food that makes us feel well. We're honoring and respecting ourselves. But when you're restricting and chasing diets, it's stressful, right? Because you're telling yourself, I'm not good enough, so I'm trying to make myself smaller, or I'm trying to make myself, I'm trying to like feel better, so I'm starving this out, or I'm doing that. But at the same, if you're starving out bacteria, you're starving you, right? And that's stressful, as well as the days and the lives that we live from day to day, right? Like, we have more stress in our day to day than our ancestors did for their entire lives. So this fasting and all that kind of stuff, no. Like, a healthy body, sure, can probably handle it, but like, still don't condone it. And then we're focusing on assisting the organs of detoxification. And so understanding these are how you help heal the gut irritation, which is how you can actually start to absorb your food and all that kind of stuff. And I hope that makes sense to you guys, because we get so lost in pointing the finger at food and wanting to eliminate all these things, and that's the easy part, right? Like, understanding how this all works together can be the more complicated part, I guess. And so if you've been following a restricted diet for a long time, the body needs to know it's safe, and that's what my mission is, and that's what I empower the girlies in Gut Accelerator to do, is understanding, okay, so how do I make my body feel safe so it can heal? Because if it doesn't feel safe, it ain't healing. That is not what it does. It's going to continue to be in fight, flight, freeze, and so your blood is going to be going to your brain, it's going to be going to your muscles, it's going to be getting ready to run away from this giant bear that it thinks is coming, even though it's not. But that's what your body thinks is happening. So it's not actually going to be focusing on digesting and repair mode and all that kind of stuff. So you have to let it know that it's safe, that's delicious, that it's nourished, that it's all the things that it's meant to feel so that it can grow and thrive and all that kind of stuff. And so the 3 things to focus on, okay, so that's like the takeaways from this, and what we dive way into inside of Gut Accelerator is focusing on low stomach acid. And so if you have low stomach acid, of course you're going to be triggered by food sensitivities. Like your body's not digesting foods, and this is when you'll see things like GERD or gastritis or heartburn or any of those things that a lot of you girlies are struggling with, because we often think it's too high of stomach acid, but it's actually low stomach acid. And it's our body and our mucus layer around our gut and our esophageal sphincter, the little hole in your esophagus, whatever, esophageal, you know what I mean. So it is focusing on that. So how to, getting your stomach acids higher and testing those pHs and getting that understanding how to rev those up. And we dive way into that in Gut Accelerator. And then focusing on if you have a sluggish liver. Like I said, your liver is your main organ of detoxification. So if that's overworked, which I could do a whole thing on fasting and why I don't condone it and why it's not, there's actually an entire module in Gut Recharge if you're looking for more of a self-paced program. I'm just pitching all those things right now. But I don't condone fasting because of that reason, because if you are fasting, you're putting too much stress on your liver, and your liver then has to produce its own glucose levels, and it's not focusing on detoxification, and then it's not focusing on producing bile, which you need to poop, which is your body's natural form of lubrication and like laxative, essentially. And so if you're fasting or you've been in a restrictive state for far too long, like how I was underweight for 4 years, like tiny. Like I look at photos of me and I'm like, oh my God, like I just look ill. Every time my dad shows me this, he loves the flip back photos. He'll like send them in our family group chat and he's like, look, and I'm like, oh my God, it hurts my soul how small I was. And like, I thought it was normal. To be bringing like smoothie jars to dinners instead of enjoying the wine and the cheese, because I was like, oh no, I can't have that. Like that was my phrase of the fucking century. I can't have that. Like people always asking, like, can you eat this? Like that's such a burden on other people. But once you understand these organs of elimination and how that's all working together, you can get back to eating and enjoying your life and actually being present, right? So focusing on how to support your liver so that it can produce digestive enzymes, it can produce bile, it can do the things an organ is supposed to be doing, okay? And the last one is stress. And I cannot emphasize this one enough. This is why in my girlies our homework is based on the lifestyle choices and how you can actually decrease stress in the body. And actually, one of the big things of working with one of my clients, Viv, that was her big thing, right? She was so obsessed with wanting to get healthy and stay healthy. She really wanted to be vegan because she was supposed to be healthy, and like just lost herself in that whole mess of this is quote unquote what I read that's healthy. And she ended up actually excelling, and we worked together for 9 months, excelling through the Gut Accelerator Program. And now she's on to become a health coach too, because of how much she learned through the program and how much she got out of it and found her food freedom. And she just feels so much more alive and confident and free, because we don't just look at what's happening in the organs and how to eat and support and move to do that. It's looking also at your stress levels and your mindset. Like, where can you add in a little bit more fun? Where can you add a little bit more life? So like homework assignments would be like meditation, or like going for a walk, or like having a spontaneous date night. That was one of my ones from one of my old clients, is I'd send him on a date night once a week with his wife. And his numbers, he had really high cholesterol and blood pressure, and his numbers went way down because stress does that. Stress inflames the body and sets off this like alarm response that like something is wrong. And if you want your body to heal, you have to be like, hey mate, like you're totally cool, it's safe, it's healthy, it's fine. And so this is why focusing on the mindset stuff is so important, and why in Gut Accelerator you have all that supportive stuff. You have the meditation tools, you have your entire online portal that is perfectly tailored to you and your lifestyle. So this stuff isn't stressful. Like, it's supposed to be easy, right? A big thing, guys, is the mindset, right? Like, you get the choice every day to tell yourself, like, this is going to be easy. You know, like, this doesn't have to be hard. This doesn't have to be restrictions and eliminations and things that make you feel like you can't do anything, or you can't go out to eat and you're missing out on date nights and spontaneity and like traveling and exploring and feeling so full of life. Like, you don't have to do that. You get to wake up every day and make the choice that this is going to be easy. This is going to be actually fun. Like, we're going to enjoy doing this. We're going to have the freedom. We're going to dance through this so that we can live in abundance, so that you can thrive, so that you can feel so full. Right? Because that is what people deserve. That is what this human experience is meant to be about. It's not meant to be at war with our body. It's not meant to feel like we're trapped and bogged down and lost in this whole thing. It's supposed to feel good every freaking day, okay? You get to make that choice, and I really invite you to make that choice because you can, because you're worth it, okay? So if you're someone that is struggling with figure out a method that works for you, and everything you see is elimination and restriction that just does not jive, that's not your jam or anything like that, I encourage you to apply for the Gut Accelerator Program. I'm inviting you to come. I'm walking with you. We create a whole online portal, and that's just like, there's so many things you get, right? Like, that's, of course, that's what people like, but like, most importantly, it's you get your life back. And like, I have hundreds of women that are walking examples of that. Myself, like, that's a pretty good example, right? Like, of feeling so trapped and bogged down. And so if you are wanting to get your life back before the holidays start, like, it's 8 weeks, right? Like, you can start making, I have one client who just started last week. Within 1 week, guys, whew, the amazement. So I invite you to do that, because those spots fill up fast, and I only take a few per month. And during holiday seasons, those go quick. And since you guys are in this group, I want to broadcast it to you guys first before I start running Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff. So you can apply for that. Fill out some of the questions that are there, and then me or someone from my team will shoot you an email, and then you and I will jump on a call together and see how we can put together our action steps to get you to your most abundant life, like the delicious, sexy, rockin', orgasmic life that we all deserve. So I hope that was beneficial for you guys to tune in and hear about the food freedom method. I will chat with you guys soon. Happy healings.